Welcome to the state of Ohio. I'm Karen Kassler. Marathon talks on changing the way the state's congressional map is drawn broke down this week with no agreement. For days, Republican lawmakers have been negotiating with representatives from citizens groups who have their own proposal to change congressional redistricting that they hope to bring to voters this fall. The lawmakers say voters elected them to draw the map, not outside groups. But the citizens groups want a nonpartisan board, not lawmakers, to draw those lines. And with lawmakers wanting to take their plan to the ballot in May, which has a deadline of February 7th, time is growing short. As State House correspondent Joe Ingles reports, it's been a tough week for negotiations with lots of controversy.
Republican Senator Matt Huffman continued to push his proposed redistricting plan through the Senate committee considering it. But opponents of it testified against it. And the testimony got testy at times between a witness and the head of the committee, Senator Bill Coley.
Ma'am, let me ask you a question. You respond to my question. It's the way the system works really well.
And again, a little later.
If I can stop you, you can't right now. I want to stop right there.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a point of order?
No, you can't right now, but you can in a minute.
A minute later, Democratic Senator and candidate for governor Joe Schiavone unleashed his frustration.
You're over here saying this is how this works, and then you're yelling at the witness, and then you're laughing at the witness. This is not how this is supposed to work. And again, that is not how this is supposed to work. They're allowed to clap if they'd like.
No, they're not.
I mean,
Senator Schiavone,
this is ridiculous the way that you treated her.
Senator Schiavone, I understand you. If you were chairman, you may handle things differently, and I respect that.
Wouldn't laugh or yell at people.
Afterward, I spoke to Lewis.
I feel a little shaken up.
Lewis says it was her first time testifying in front of Coley in this panel. Later, after the committee recessed, Coley came back into the hearing room, sat down, and talked to Lewis about his proposal. The tension around this issue has been rising, and the sponsor of the redistricting plan being considered by the committee says it's because lawmakers know they need to do something with it now.
Oftentimes people don't make decisions, usually don't make decisions that are difficult until they have to.
And Senator Matt Huffman says they have to right now. February 7th is the last day to put an issue on the May ballot, and this proposal must pass the House and Senate before then. And in Huffman's mind, it's May or never for the lawmakers' plan because he doesn't see it competing with the citizens group's plan on the November ballot.
I think it's difficult for the public to digest.
Huffman says he wants bipartisan agreement on one proposal. And while he's made what he calls significant changes to make the legislative proposal more palatable to Democrats and the citizens group, it hasn't been enough to convince them to get on board. Catherine Terser with Common Cause Ohio says the changes that have been made are cosmetic and that there is a major sticking point that is non-negotiable as far as she's concerned.
His proposal does not have a rule prohibiting gerrymandering.
And Heather Taylor Measley with the Ohio Environmental Council, another group that's pushing the citizen-led effort, says ending gerrymandering and keeping communities together are deal makers or deal breakers.
That is the deal that we can cut. That's the deal that we want. That's the deal that we will show up for ever to get, because we believe that when voters are empowered, that we will get the kind of representation that we need.
Talks went on for days, and while it seemed at times that a deal may have been close, they ended up Wednesday night with no agreement. The citizens groups say they already have 2/3 of the signatures needed to put the issue on the ballot in November. That's the same ballot on which voters will be deciding key state offices, including governor. And redistricting could become the political football many candidates wish wasn't part of the fall lineup. Karen?
Thanks, Joe.